The rescue. The stars outside the spaceship looked calm, but inside, alarms were screaming. Commander Eli Vance ran through the metal hallway, his boots pounding the floor. His team had received a distress call from a nearby alien transport ship. It was under attack. Unknown enemy vessels, the pilot had said. Heavy fire. Life signs detected. Eli didn't ask questions. That wasn't his job. He was a soldier, trained to act fast and think later. As the boarding doors opened, the smell of smoke and burning metal hit him. The alien ship was in bad shape. Walls were cracked and wires hung from the ceiling like vines. Red warning lights flashed in every corner. "Stay sharp," Eli told his team. "We don't know what's waiting." They moved room by room, checking for survivors. Most of the ship was empty, too empty. It felt like a trap. Then they heard it. Screams. A sharp metallic clash and a voice, soft but strong, crying out in pain. Eli followed the sound, breaking into a large chamber. Inside, several tall, armored figures surrounded someone on the floor. In the center was an alien woman, bleeding and barely able to move. Her silver armor was cracked, and a strange, glowing sword lay beside her. The attackers turned toward Eli. They didn't speak. They just raised their weapons. Eli didn't think. He fired. His team joined him, bullets flying, energy beams flashing. 2 enemies went down. The others charged forward. Eli's weapon jammed. He looked around. No time to fix it. The sword on the floor caught his eye. It called to him, glowing faintly blue as if waiting. He grabbed it. A sudden shock ran through his arm, like cold fire. His vision blurred for a second. He felt something, a connection, like the sword was alive. The alien woman gasped when she saw him hold it. Her eyes widened with disbelief. She tried to speak, but no words came. Eli pushed the feeling aside. He had to fight. The sword was light, faster than any weapon he had used. It cut through armor like paper. One by one, the enemies fell. When the last one dropped, silence filled the room. Eli looked at the woman. She was trying to sit up, shaking. "You're safe now," he said. She stared at him. Her voice was weak but clear. "You touched the blade." Eli frowned. "I had no choice. I was trying to help." She nodded slowly, her expression unreadable. "You don't understand," she whispered. "You have claimed me." "What?" Eli stepped back, confused. "What do you mean?" She looked at him, her eyes full of both fear and something deeper. "That blade is sacred. Only my fated mate may carry it." Eli blinked. "Fated mate? You mean like marriage?" She nodded again, eyes closing as she lost strength. "It is done." The sword dimmed in his hand. He suddenly felt the weight of it, not just the metal but the meaning. His team rushed in behind him, looking around. "Commander, you okay?" Eli didn't answer. He looked at the blade, then at the woman on the floor. Who was she? What had he just done? And what was coming next? The bond of the blade. The medical bay was quiet, except for the soft beeping of machines. Commander Eli Vance stood beside the glass pod where the alien woman now rested. Her breathing was steady, her wounds slowly healing under the soft green lights. She hadn't moved since she passed out. Her face was calm now, but Eli's mind was anything but. He still held the strange sword in his hand. It no longer glowed. It felt cold and heavy now, like the weight of a secret he wasn't ready to carry. Behind him, Dr. Ray cleared her throat. "She'll live," she said, "barely. That blade you grabbed, it's fused to your biosignature now. No one else can touch it, not even her." Eli turned, confused. "What do you mean, fused?" Dr. Ray pulled up a scan on the screen. "Whatever tech is inside that thing, it's bonded to you on a molecular level. Like it accepted you." "I didn't want it," Eli said. "Too late," she replied. Later, in the warship's common room, Eli tried to rest, but his thoughts wouldn't stop spinning. Who was she? Why did that sword react to him? And what did she mean? Fated mate? His questions were answered sooner than expected. 2 days later, the alien woman woke. Eli stood by her bedside again. This time, her silver eyes met his with focus and fire. Her voice was soft, but steady. "You carry the blade now," she said. Eli nodded. "My name is Eli Vance. I'm a human commander. We received your distress call and—" "You took the blade," she interrupted. "Do you know what that means?" "I didn't have a choice," he said calmly. "I was trying to save your life." She sat up slowly, pain flickering in her eyes. "In my world, only the chosen may hold the blade of fireblood. It belongs to my family, passed down through generations. Only one who is bound to me may wield it without dying." Eli raised an eyebrow. "Bound? As in, romantically?" She nodded once. "You are now my fated." He stepped back. "Look, I didn't sign up for this. I'm just a soldier." Her voice remained calm. "The blade doesn't care what you want. It chose you. Now you are part of my bloodline, part of my fate, whether you like it or not." Suddenly, the room's door hissed open. An alien priest entered, tall, robed, his face marked with glowing blue symbols. He bowed to Kalara, then looked at Eli. "You must be judged." "Judged for what?" Eli asked. "For claiming the royal bond," the priest replied. "Come. The rite of confirmation awaits." Kalara stood on weak legs. "He is not ready." "He must be," the priest said, "or both your lives will be forfeit." Eli found himself walking into a dark ceremonial chamber deep in the ship. Strange. Lights flickered. Shadows moved across ancient walls marked with symbols he couldn't understand. The priest motioned for him to stand in a glowing circle. Kalara stood in the center of another one across from him. "This is the bonding rite," the priest said. "If the blade accepted you, the spirits of her ancestors will show themselves." Eli rolled his eyes. "You've got to be kidding me," but when the lights dimmed, the room began to change. Ghostly figures formed in the air. Tall, noble, armored. Alien warriors from 1,000 years ago. They circled Eli silently, studying him. Then one stepped forward and spoke in a language Eli somehow understood. "You carry her blood in your hands. Will you protect it or spill it?" Eli's voice was dry. "I'll protect her. I already did." The figure looked at him for a long moment, then nodded. The sword on Eli's back began to glow again, bright and blue. The priest gasped. "It is true. The bond is real." Kalara stared at him, emotions she didn't understand filling her chest. "I didn't expect the blade to choose a human," she whispered, "but it did." As they left the chamber, alarms began to ring across the ship. Unknown ships approaching, the pilot called over comms. Multiple hostiles. Not human. Not friendly. Kalara looked at the scanner. Her face went pale. "It's the Thorn Circle." "Who?" Eli asked. "They are warriors from my own people. Zealots. They believe no outsider may ever touch the blade. If they know you hold it, they will kill you." Eli clenched his jaw. "Then let them try." Kalara looked at him for a long time. "You don't understand. They won't just kill you. They will destroy every human ship they can find. To them, you are a curse, a mistake that must be erased." Hours passed in silence. The ship stayed in deep space, hiding in an asteroid belt. The Thorn Circle was still searching for them. Kalara sat beside Eli in the war room. "You saved my life," she said. "I didn't know what it would cost." She gave him a small smile. "Neither did I." There was a long pause. "Do you regret it?" she asked quietly. He thought for a moment. "No," he said. "But I don't understand it either." She nodded. "You don't need to understand. You only need to survive." Enemy of her people. The ship was silent, drifting through space, hidden between the shadows of ancient asteroids. But even in silence, danger waited. Eli Vance stood alone in the training chamber, holding the ancestral blade in his hands. He had been practicing for hours. The sword felt strange but familiar now, like it knew how to guide his hands. Still, it wasn't just a weapon. It was a symbol, a promise, and a problem. Kalara watched him from the doorway. Her arms were crossed, her face unreadable. "You're improving," she said. Eli turned to her. "I'm a soldier. I adapt." "This blade doesn't want a soldier," she replied. "It wants a protector." Eli shrugged. "Aren't they the same thing?" Kalara didn't answer. She walked into the chamber, her steps slow, her presence strong. There was something different in her eyes today. More tension, more pain. "You shouldn't be here," she said quietly. "Not anymore," Eli frowned. "You think I should leave?" "No," she said. "I think you can't leave. And that's the problem." Later that night, the tension in the ship grew thicker. Kalara met with the ship's captain and her remaining guards. Their faces were cold, formal, distant. One of the guards, a tall alien named Sovar, stepped forward. He had served Kalara's family for years, but now his eyes were full of judgment. "You allow the human to walk beside you," Sovar said, "to train with our sacred weapon, to sit in our war rooms." "He holds the blade," Kalara replied. "He is not one of us. The blade chose him." "Blades do not choose mistakes," Sovar said. The room fell silent. Kalara looked him in the eyes. "He saved me when none of you could. That's not a mistake." That same night, Eli was walking back to his quarters when he noticed something odd. A shadow moved too quickly near the corner. A door that should have been closed was slightly open. He entered the room slowly, the blade now always at his side. There was no sound, no light, but something didn't feel right. Suddenly, a sharp hum broke the silence. A blade flew toward his head. He dodged just in time. Two masked figures lunged at him, fast and silent. Assassins. He fought hard, blade clashing against steel, heart racing. The ancestral weapon seemed to hum louder, burning blue in the dark. It was almost alive in his grip. He dropped one assassin with a deep cut. The second ran, vanished into the shadows. Blood dripped from Eli's arm. His heart thundered. They hadn't come to steal the blade. They had come to kill him. Kalara arrived moments later. She saw the broken mask of the fallen attacker, and her breath caught in her throat. "This is the mark of the thorn circle," she said. "But they didn't come from outside. This one, he's one of my own men." Eli stared at her. "Your people tried to kill me." "No," she said. "Not my people, my blood." The next morning, Eli walked into the War Council room. He wasn't invited, but he didn't care. Kalara was already there. So was Sovar. So were two other noble commanders from her empire. Eli dropped the broken assassin's blade on the table. "This was in my back last night," he said. "Do we still want to talk about trust?" Sovar didn't look at the blade. "You bring war into this ship, human. You are not a guest. You are a curse." Eli stepped forward. "I didn't ask for any of this." "No," Sovar said. "But the sword did. And now we must clean the stain." Kalara stood. "Enough. You will not touch him again. Not while I breathe." Sovar's voice dropped. "Then your blood will run with his." That night, Kalara and Eli sat in the engine room, the only place where no one could hear them. "I trusted Sovar," she said softly. "He carried me on. His back when I was 5. He taught me how to fight. And now he tries to kill the man who saved my life." Eli looked at her. "Why do they hate me so much?" She was silent for a long time. Then she said, "Because you broke the old ways. You touched a part of me that no outsider was ever meant to reach. The blade is sacred. To take it without permission is to rewrite destiny. My people don't forgive rewritten destinies." Eli sighed. "So what now? They keep trying until they succeed?" "No," Kalara said. "We stop hiding." Eli raised an eyebrow. "You're not thinking of fighting your own people?" "No," she replied. "I'm thinking of challenging them." As Kalara prepared for the trial combat, an ancient tradition to claim rightful command, Eli stayed beside her. You don't have to do this, he told her. You could stay quiet. Let me go. Kalara looked at him, her voice soft but fierce. I'd rather die with you than live without honor. And then, for the first time, she placed her hand over his. The blade between them began to glow again, stronger, brighter. United far away in a hidden corner of the galaxy, a signal was sent. A dark figure in shadow received the message. The human still lives. The bond is growing. If we do not stop them now, the prophecy will come true. A pair of glowing red eyes narrowed. Then burn the stars if you must. But kill him. The blade remembers. The silence in the warship was heavy. It had been 3 days since Kalara's formal challenge to her own people, and tension filled every hallway. Soldiers who once followed her with pride now looked away in silence. Some were afraid. Others were waiting for her to fall. But Kalara didn't fall. Not yet. Eli stood alone in the ship's armory, staring at the ancestral blade. Since the attack, it hadn't stopped glowing. Not like before. It pulsed with energy, as if calling out to something far away, or someone. Kalara entered quietly, her armor half worn, her braid loose over her shoulder. She looked tired more than usual. There's something I haven't told you, she said. Eli turned. You've told me a lot of things I wasn't ready to hear. This is different, she replied. The blade is not just a weapon. It is a key. A key to what? She hesitated. To a place my ancestors called the heart of the flame. A ruin hidden deep inside a dead world. The blade remembers every hand that has held it, every life it has touched. And in that place, it speaks. Speaks? Eli frowned. You mean it can talk? In a way, she said. It shows you truth, but not everyone survives what they see. Within hours, the warship dropped Eli near the surface of the ancient planet, Velthara, the birthplace of Kalara's bloodline. The world was gray, broken, and lifeless. Cracked mountains rose from ash-covered valleys. The sky burned a dull red. Eli had to go alone. No one else could touch the blade, and no one else could face what waited in the ruins. Before he left, Kalara took his hand. Whatever the blade shows you, she said, don't let it break you. What if it does? Then I'll find a way to fix you. The entrance to the ruins was hidden under stone, an ancient symbol glowing faintly on the ground. When Eli pressed the blade to it, the earth shook and opened, revealing a deep staircase carved into the mountain itself. He descended alone. Each step felt colder. The walls were carved with glowing alien words, slowly lighting up as he passed. They told stories of war, love, betrayal, sacrifice, and something darker, a shadow that hunted every bloodline that dared to bond with an outsider. The farther he went, the more he felt the blade tremble in his hand. At the bottom, he entered a wide chamber filled with statues, tall alien warriors with the same eyes as Kalara. Each one held a blade just like his. In the center stood a mirror. It wasn't glass. It was made of swirling light and shadow. The blade pulsed hard in his grip, then suddenly stopped. The silence was deafening. Then the mirror changed. He saw himself, but not the man he was now. He saw the future. Eli stood in a battlefield, his armor broken, the blade shattered in his hand. All around him, Kalara's people lay dead. Smoke filled the sky. The ground burned. He turned and saw Kalara lying still, dead. He dropped to his knees, screaming her name, but no sound came out. Then the mirror shifted again. This time, he saw her alive, wearing royal armor, standing tall on a throne. The people cheered, but Eli wasn't beside her. He was far away, alone, watching from the shadows. Another choice, another fate. The mirror split in two. One road ended in fire, the other in silence. And then a voice echoed, not from the mirror, but from inside the blade. Your bond was never about love. It was always about consequence. Eli stepped back, heart pounding. What do you mean? But the chamber was dark again. The vision ended. The blade dimmed. He was alone. Hours later, Eli returned to the surface, pale and shaken. Kalara was waiting for him in the ship. You saw something, she said. He didn't speak for a moment. I saw too much. Did it show you the end? Yes. 2 ends. Which one will you choose? She asked. Eli looked her in the eyes. I don't think I get to choose. Kalara stepped closer. Then we fight for the one that keeps us both alive. But before they could say more, the ship's alarm rang. Multiple ships incoming. Not Thorn Circle, something else. Kalara and Eli ran to the command deck. On the screen, a fleet of black, unmarked ships approached fast. No symbols, no IDs. A dark voice cut through the comms. You should have destroyed him when you had the chance, Kalara. Kalara's face turned to ice. Eli stepped forward. Who is that? She whispered. My uncle, Lord Theros. Lord Theros had once been a hero in her empire, but he had been exiled for trying to steal the blade of Fireblood for himself. He believed prophecy should be controlled, not followed. Now he had returned, with a private army and one goal: kill Eli. Break the bond. Rewrite fate. The screen showed Theros's face, old, scarred, eyes glowing red. You brought shame to our blood, he growled. You gave our sacred weapon to a human. He saved me, Kalara said. Theros sneered. Then let him die, saving you again. As the ship prepared for battle, Kalara turned to Eli. This is not just about us anymore, she said. This is about everything we are, everything we could be. Eli nodded, gripping the blade tighter. Then let's make sure we're more than a mistake. She reached up and touched his face. You are the only choice I never regret. And the blade between them once more began to glow brighter than it ever had before. The crown and the choice. The royal summons came like a quiet blade in the night. Elegant, cold, and dangerous. Kalara stood at the center of the bridge, holding the encrypted scroll. Her hands trembled, not with fear, but with something worse. Duty. The Empress, her mother, had called her home. Not to praise her, not to understand her choices, but to control them. Eli watched her from across the room. He didn't need to ask what the message said. He could see it in her eyes. They want you to leave, he said. Kalara didn't deny it. They want me to come alone. Without you. Without the blade. Then you won't go, Eli said calmly. But she looked away. It's not that simple. It never is with your people, is it? Kalara walked to the viewing window, the stars glittering beyond the glass. There's more, she said. The Empress has announced a royal union ceremony. Eli's chest tightened. You're getting married? She nodded, her voice thin. To Lord Varric, son of the High Counselor. Eli stepped back like he'd been punched. You can't be serious. It's a political move, she said, to restore peace, to make the people forget that a human touched the sacred blade. And what about what we've been through? He asked. What about the bond? She turned to him, and for a moment her eyes were full of pain. The bond may be written in spirit, but the throne answers to blood and power. Eli stared at her. Are you really going to let them control you like this? Kalara said nothing, and in that silence, something between them cracked. 3 days later, Kalara's royal transport left for the homeworld. Eli didn't say goodbye. She didn't ask him to. The ship felt empty without her. The blade, once burning bright, was now cold in Eli's grip. It still obeyed him, but its light was dim, as if it sensed her absence too. Eli spent the next few days in silence, training, thinking, trying not to feel, but the visions from the ruins haunted him. 2 fates, one where she died beside him, one where she lived without him. On the royal homeworld of Naltharion, Kalara stepped into the palace she had once called home. But now it felt like a cage. Golden walls, polished floors, faces full of judgment. The Empress welcomed her with open arms, but cold eyes. "You brought shame to our legacy," she said softly. "Now you will undo it." Kalara bowed. "I have done only what the blade demanded, and now the throne demands more," the Empress replied. "You will marry Lord Varric in 5 days. The people need to see their bloodline restored." Kalara didn't argue, but deep inside her heart fractured. Varric was powerful, respected, a perfect political choice, but he was not Eli. Back on the warship, Eli was staring at the empty training hall when the comms crackled. A secret message, encrypted, from Kalara. He opened it. It was just one line. "Do not come for me." He read it again, then again, and he knew exactly what he had to do. By the time Eli landed on Naltharion, the royal union was already in progress. Thousands had gathered in the throne hall, where golden firelights danced on ancient walls. Kalara stood at the front in ceremonial armor, flawless and still. Beside her, Lord Varric, a tall, proud noble, wore the colors of conquest. The priest stepped forward, raising the crown of flame between them. Kalara was silent, her face unreadable, but her hands were clenched at her sides. Then a sudden crack of light exploded at the back of the hall. All heads turned. Eli Vance stood at the doorway, dressed in black armor, the ancestral blade glowing like a storm in his hand. Guards rushed toward him. He didn't move. He just raised the blade. And the entire hall froze, because it wasn't just glowing now, it was roaring. Flames circled it. Wind whipped around him. Symbols burned across the floor beneath his feet. The blade was awake. The priest dropped the crown in shock. The Empress stood. "What is the meaning of this?" Kalara stepped forward before Eli could speak. Her voice rang clear through the chamber. "The blade has chosen," she said, "and I will not marry a man who does not carry its light." Varric growled. "You dare shame me?" Kalara turned to him. "You were never worthy. You only ever wanted the throne. But Eli? He never wanted anything, he just saved my life. Again and again." Eli finally spoke. His voice was calm but strong. "I didn't come to steal your crown," he said. "I came to remind her that she doesn't need to wear one to matter." The Empress looked at Kalara. "If you refuse this union, you will lose your title." Kalara nodded. "Then I'll lose it." The Empress's voice darkened. "You would give up everything for a human?" Kalara looked at Eli, then back to her mother. "No," she said. "I gave up everything the moment I watched him risk his life for a people who spit on his name." The Empress raised her hand. "Then so be it." Guards moved in. Eli readied the blade, but Kalara placed a hand on his arm. "Not like this," she said. "Let them take the crown. Let them take the name. We still have each other." As the guards surrounded them, the blade pulsed once more, then vanished into light. It had done its part. It had brought them together. Later that night, Eli and Kalara walked through the quiet gardens outside the palace. They were no longer princess and soldier, no longer warrior and faded, just Kalara and Eli. He looked at her. "You gave up everything for me." She smiled. "No, I gave up everything for us." "But what now?" he asked. "They'll hunt us. You know that." She nodded. "Let them. I'd rather fight every day with you than live one more peaceful lie without you." Far above them, Lord Theros watched from a hidden ship. His red eyes glowed. "They've made their choice," he said. A hooded figure beside him replied, "Then let's make sure it destroys them both." The great betrayal, the stars above them glittered like cold watchers in the night, but Eli and Kalara were no longer welcome beneath them. They had fled the royal world, leaving behind Kalara's title, her crown, and everything she once was. Now they drifted in a stolen scout ship, small, fast, and invisible to most tracking systems, but not invisible enough. Eli stood in the cockpit, staring at a blinking alert. Someone had pinged their ship's location, twice. Once from outside, and once from inside. He turned slowly toward the back of the ship, where Kalara sat resting, eyes closed, her blade beside her. Her breathing was steady, but her fingers twitched in her sleep, as if battling ghosts he couldn't see. He didn't wake her. Not yet. He just watched the message logs again. One of them had been encrypted in royal protocol. Only someone close could have sent it. The next morning, Kalara noticed the silence. Eli didn't joke. He didn't speak much at all. He only trained, or sat with the sword, lost in his thoughts. "You've barely looked at me," she said softly. "What is it?" Eli hesitated, then said, "Someone on this ship told the Empire where we were." Kalara froze. "You think it was me?" "No," he said, "but I think it was someone close to you, someone you trusted." She stood slowly. "There's no one left to betray us." Eli's voice was quiet but steady. "Then why did the signal use your father's clearance code?" Kalara turned pale. "My father died 5 cycles ago," she whispered. "In the Shadow War." Eli nodded. "Or so you were told." They docked at a hidden outpost deep within a gas cloud nebula. A dead mining colony once used by smugglers, now abandoned. They had planned to rest there, to disappear for a while, but the past never stays buried. While Kalara searched through the colony's old servers, Eli explored the tunnels. The walls were covered in half-erased markings, warnings from people who had vanished long ago. Then he heard it, a whisper, from the blade. It had only whispered once before, during the vision, in the ruins, but now it called him by name, Eli. He gripped the blade tighter. "She doesn't know the truth. But I do." Eli's breath caught. "What truth?" The blade pulsed in his hand. "You are not the first." Eli returned to Kalara, his voice sharp. "Did your people ever bond with a human before me?" Kalara frowned. "No, it would be impossible. You're the only one who's ever touched the blade and lived." "Then what does this mean?" he asked, showing her an ancient log he found in the outpost. One that spoke of a human warrior, centuries ago, who vanished after touching a blade. Just like his, Kalara stared at the file, her hands shaking. "This can't be real," she whispered. Eli leaned in. "What if this isn't just about us? What if this whole thing is happening again?" That night, Kalara couldn't sleep. She stood alone on the observation deck, staring into the gas clouds. Then, footsteps. She turned. Blaster drawn, a hooded figure stood before her. She fired. The shot passed through him, a hologram. Then a voice echoed from the walls. "Hello, daughter." Kalara's hand fell. Her heart dropped. The voice was real. It was her father. She ran to the main chamber. Eli was already there, facing the full projection. Her father, General Varian of the Royal Blood Guard, stood tall in the flickering image. Older, grayer, but alive. "Why?" Kalara breathed. "You died in the war." Varian nodded. "I let them believe it. The Empress needed a symbol of loss, and I needed time to prepare." "Prepare for what?" Eli asked. Varian's voice darkened. "For the breaking of the bond." Varian revealed the truth. The blade of Fireblood was never meant to protect love. It was created as a weapon to contain it, to control the power that formed when two souls became bound across species, fate, and destiny. Long ago, one of Kalara's ancestors had loved a human. They broke tradition. The blade had accepted him, and the galaxy almost burned. "Love across bloodlines opens something greater than you understand," Varian said. "It creates power, uncontrolled, unmeasured, and feared." Kalara stepped forward. "So you faked your death to hide from it?" "No," he said. "I faked it to stop it from happening again." Guards flooded the outpost. Eli and Kalara ran, barely escaping through maintenance tunnels. Barion's final words rang in their ears. The bond must be broken, or the galaxy will break instead. Back aboard their ship, Eli slammed his fist into the wall. They've been watching us, using us, all this time. Kalara said nothing. She was staring at the blade. It was never meant to be ours. She whispered, "Maybe they're right." Eli turned to her. "Do you believe that?" "I don't know what to believe anymore." Eli handed her the blade. "If we're not meant to have it, then destroy it." She raised it. Her hands shook. Then the blade pulsed, brighter than ever before. It showed her a flash, a child, half human, half royal blood, standing between two armies. Not in fear, in command. She dropped the blade, gasping. "What did you see?" Eli asked. Kylara's voice was barely a whisper. "Our child, ending a war we haven't even begun." Outside, a ship appeared from hyperspace, not from the Empire, not from the rebels. A new symbol on its wings, an ancient sigil, long forgotten, the Order of the First Blade. The voice over the comms was female, calm, cold. "Surrender the bond, or surrender your lives, bound by blade, freed by love." The Order of the First Blade had arrived with no warning. Their ship hovered above the ruined outpost like a silent predator. Sleek, black, marked with ancient runes that pulsed red with energy. No flags, no allegiance, just purpose. Kalara stood at the viewport, her jaw clenched. "They were supposed to be a myth." Eli holstered his sidearm. "Then let's rewrite the myth." A voice echoed over the comms again, sharp, composed, unfeeling. "Eli Vance, Kalara of the Fireblood, line, you carry the bond, and with it the seed of the cataclysm. You will come aboard, alone, or we will erase this planet and all who breathe upon it." Kalara and Eli had fought pirates, assassins, royals, and even her own blood. But this was different. The Order of the First Blade was ancient, older than Kalara's empire, created to guard a single truth, that interspecies bonding through the blade of fireblood was a cosmic threat, not a miracle. In the wrong hands, such a bond could collapse dimensions, rewrite laws of nature, warp time, end stars, and now, two people held that power without ever meaning to. Inside their ship's war room, Kalara reached out and touched Eli's hand. "They're not wrong to fear it," she said, "but fear is not prophecy." Eli met her eyes. "Do we surrender?" "No," she said. "We remind them why the blade chose us." They took a shuttle and flew toward the Order's flagship. No weapons, only the blade. As they docked, masked figures surrounded them, robes of black and white, glowing patterns woven into the fabric like ancient circuits. They said nothing, only led them into a massive chamber carved out of stone and steel. At the far end stood the High Seer of the Order, her face hidden, her voice ageless. "You were never meant to find each other, and now you will end everything." "We were built to protect," Kalara stepped forward. "We didn't choose the blade. It chose us. The blade is a key, but it is also a test, a weapon, and a curse. Do you know what lies inside it?" Eli said nothing. He just looked down at the blade in his hand, and the blade spoke again. "Show them." In a flash of light, the blade activated itself. The chamber disappeared, and all of them stood inside a memory, an echo of the past. They saw a galaxy at war, centuries ago. Planets burned, ships shattered. At the center of the chaos stood two figures, a human and a royal holding the very same blade, and between them, a child, glowing, radiating with energy that bent time and space. The child screamed, and a solar system collapsed. The vision ended. Gasps filled the room. Kalara whispered, "That child, it was born of a bond like ours." The High Seer nodded, slowly. "That was the last time. The blade remembers all who are touched by it, and all the consequences. But that child, Eli said. It wasn't a monster. It was scared. Alone. And without guidance it became a weapon, the High Seer replied. Eli stepped forward. Then let us guide it this time. Silence followed. Then betrayal struck. From behind the throne stepped Lord Theros, Kaelara's exiled uncle. Smiling. You? See? He said to the Order. They're emotional, unstable. They believe they can tame fate. He drew a blade identical to Eli's, corrupted, burning red. I'll do what you're too afraid to do. Theros snarled. I'll end the bond and destroy the blade forever. He lunged. The chamber erupted in chaos. Guards scattered. Eli blocked Theros's first strike, steel on steel, light clashing against darkness. Kaelara stood frozen until the High Seer looked at her and spoke only one word. Choose. In that moment, Kaelara understood. This wasn't just a fight for survival. It was a test of fate itself. She stepped forward and placed her hand on the glowing blade. It surged with light. Gold, not blue. Fire, not flame. Eli and Kaelara moved as one. Not just lovers, not just warriors. Bonded. They fought together. Every strike was balanced. His speed, her precision. His strength, her grace. Theros was strong. But he was alone. They were not. Eli disarmed him first. Kaelara followed with a sweep of the blade that knocked him to his knees. Theros looked up, blood on his lips. You're fools. You think love will save you? Kaelara raised the blade. No, but it will save them. She turned and pointed the blade at the High Seer. Let us go, she said. Or kill us now. The High Seer stared at her, then slowly removed her hood. She was ancient, but her eyes were young, bright, and full of tears. You've passed the true test, she said. Not strength, not blood, but will. The chamber shifted again. This time, it wasn't a vision. It was a doorway. Behind it, the blade's final secret waited. Kaelara and Eli walked through together. Inside was a glowing sphere, a living core. It pulsed with energy from every life the blade had touched. A voice echoed in both their minds. You are not the end. You are the correction, not destruction. Evolution. Your bond rewrites the rules not to break them, but to heal them. When they returned, the Order stood in silence. The High Seer spoke once more. You are no longer fugitives. You are no longer threats. You are the first true bond. Eli and Kaelara returned to the stars, not as rulers or rebels, but as something new. Their child would one day walk between species and speak the words no blade could carry alone. Not war, not fear, but unity. Back on the warship, Eli looked at Kaelara. No more running, he said. She smiled. No more hiding. He reached for her hand, and the blade, now resting in a cradle of light, faded to silence. Its purpose fulfilled, its memory complete.